You're listening to Spainfully Honest, the podcast where me, Paul,
and me, Catherine, talk about what it's really like living in Spain.
Each week we'll share tips and honest conversations about the daily life here in Spain, the good, the bad, and everything in between.
Whether you live in Spain, thinking about moving, or just want to know a little bit more, you're in the right place.
So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's get Spainfully Honest.
Good morning, and welcome to episode 16 of Spainfully Honest.
16.
Wow. And this week is our furniture special.
Yeah, this is one where I actually feel like I know what I'm talking about a little bit. It's the first one. If you're getting up to 16, this is the one where I feel like to give you something that's like, you know, actually real, you know, a bit of proper help.
Expert level.
Rather than guessing. I don't know about expert, that's probably not true, but it's more, yeah, there's things, I mean, when you think about it, sometimes feel that it's like a little bit condescending talking about furniture to somebody.
Yeah.
But there are differences and there are things that can make it better for you. So, yeah, hopefully this will be a really, really useful one for you. It might be really long, but it'll be useful.
We might chop it in half. We'll see how we go on.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, cool. Well, before we get started, do you want to, how was your week?
Well, yeah, it's a bit unusual one because I'm staying at my mother's house looking after a cat.
Oh.
Ginger. He's the most inactive cat you'd ever see. He lies on this cushion in front of the sofa. He walks to the food, which is 4 feet away, eats a bit, walks back, and then walks around the corner, goes for a pee or poo, and then walks back and gets back on the mat again. He is 20, which is quite old for a cat. It's 140 years old in cat years, so he is knocking on a bit. So we're giving that excuse. So I'm staying there. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And the most important thing that's happened this week is outside. It's rained. It rained this week. Actually, it's raining today. It's supposed to rain today.
Yeah. It's like 25%.
It's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Facebook's the end of the world. No idea why I moved here. We didn't move here for this. Didn't move here for this. I was literally sat on my mother's balcony. There's a car park in front of her with like a nicely polished concrete floor, and it rained 27 raindrops.
Oh my God.
That was it.
It rained a little bit more here, but it was like 3 minutes.
Yeah, not a lot.
It wasn't much at all.
I mean,
when you look at you know, we put on social media and stuff and the news, and I mean, they have to cover it because it's newsworthy, but it feels like it's all of Spain as well. And you see people on the Facebook groups, and they're like worried about movement to Spain because they think everywhere is flooding. But it's always like the same specific region. Yeah, it's like it close to certain rivers that always seem to run over, or just certain areas that tend to flood where maybe they shouldn't have built houses or whatever it is.
Not belittling it in any way. I mean, I was, when it happened sort of 10 years ago, I went to Los Alcatraz after they had a really bad one. And it was horrendous.
Yeah.
I mean, it was horrendous.
Yeah.
So not belittling it.
No, but it's not everywhere. No.
And it's not even everywhere within one place.
No.
You know, so at that point, Los Alcatraz got like a reputation. It was all over British media and everything. But it was one area of Los Alcatraz, not the whole place. It was a big area, but it wasn't. Yeah.
It was awful in that. Yeah. But even like where we are here, San Pedro del Pinatar, I'm going to say rained for like 3 minutes. But like Torrevieja in that area, they had it worse. You know, when you've been here a bit, you sort of know where it's going to be affected. Yeah. Like in Playa Flamenca, there's an underpass there, always floods, and that's what's on the photos. Yeah. But it's because all the roads converge into one spot that's low down. You know, that would happen anywhere, not just in Spain. I mean, and they're starting to realise there's these spots as well, aren't they? And so in Los Alcatraz, did work, and I don't think it's flooded in Leon.
It seems. I don't think we've had that level
so bad,
this time, but anyway. But so don't be put off by it. As I say, we're not put off. But just have a look at it, you know, and you can get flood zone reports. There's one for this area and it shows you. But when you look at them, it's fairly obvious it's going to be geographically. You know, that they're at bottom. They built some properties at the end of loads of fields that come down from a hill. Yeah. Well, you know, the water's going to run off those fields and end up in that bit. You know, it's fairly obvious.
And then look out for the word Rambla. It's a dry riverbed. It's Spanish for dry riverbed.
But it's only dry when there's no rain.
Exactly, but
it's a wet riverbed.
And their actual function is when it rains a lot, the water needs to run down them out to the sea.
And they've built properties in some of those.
Exactly. So if your house you're looking at is on Rambla or something,
and it's called Calle Rambla.
Don't buy it.
Stay away from it. The other thing I forget about, I only remembered this morning, we must have had a bit of rain, puddles. I forget about puddles. I'm driving along, I see all these people diving out of the way. Lycra diving into the bushes. What are they doing? And then I realised, go through this puddle and spray everywhere. That's what it is, diving lycra.
And I walk around everywhere in flip-flops for like most of the
but
year.
that's the other thing. That's the other thing I was going to mention. I saw my first person today. Flip-flops, the ones that go between your toe with socks. How can you wear a flip-flop with a thing in between your toe and put socks on?
Max does that.
Impossible.
My son does that as well.
Fly off.
No, it wasn't Max, it was Jamie. Jamie did it.
I know the ones with the
Around the
band.
house though.
The ones in the band would make sense. But a flip-flop with the thing in the top and a
I was
sock,
like,
how do you do it?
why are you doing that? It looks so comfortable.
It does look stupid. You see them shuffling along, you can tell. Like shuffling so they don't fall off.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's weird, isn't it? I think it's weird to have flip-flops and socks together anyway.
I do.
The flip-flops are pretty comfortable, aren't they? And then if your feet are cold, they'll put shoes on.
Put shoes on.
Don't understand it.
Yeah, but look a bit funny with the lycra. Well, trainers, I suppose. That's what they're made for, isn't it? Okay, fair enough. Right, let's get started because we could be here a while.
Yeah, this is true. So tell us, Paul, how long you've been in the furniture business. So to give people a little bit of a background about how much you know.
I was in
listen to you.
retail from, well, the market store when I was 12.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh.
and I wasn't selling furniture, I was selling records. And then I got a job in a supermarket, so that was retail. And then I got a job, I worked for Next for a little bit, that was really good, I enjoyed that. And then I got my sort of graduate thing, which was in retail, and that's where I first did furniture. So I was on like a graduate training course at 21, and part of that course was a 2-year thing, 6 months of that was in furniture. So that's how I got into furniture originally. But then I left those companies, went working for different ones. I didn't really do furniture again until here.
And how long did you have the furniture store for overall in Spain?
So from, we opened it in 2003 and finished with it in 2022, so 19 years.
I only worked with you for 7 years at the end. Yeah.
We did, I was looking the other day because we had all the records and I looked at, we always did consecutive order numbers. So I looked at the number of orders. So we did 10,000 orders up until 2015. And then since then we did the orders with the other DFS. So I reckon it's probably, there'll be at least probably 15, 16,000. Now they would have been sometimes multiple to the same person, but you're still talking a lot of houses furnished in one way or another. Yeah. So, and that was, initially it was sort of in the area that we're in now. So it went from probably, if you say, Mazaron through to Alicante, a little bit more occasionally, but and it was at the time when all the resorts and developments were being built. So we virtually went on to every single one. And my job was to go on to those first and get plans and things and go and speak to the owners of the builders and things and get plans, sets of plans so we could help people. So I literally been in a lot of different types of property.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I wanted to sort of start with really on this is that there's an element of your furniture buying that you need to be thinking about before you even start thinking about buying furniture is the property, especially if you're buying a new build. Because and people don't sort of appreciate this so much. They probably do in the UK, but here I don't think there's so much. There is an element that you can change the property slightly before you receive it.
Yeah.
So things like, and I've put some notes here, things like if you get a new build, the properties here are built with columns rather than sort of mainly walls. So you can take a lot of the internal walls down or move them. So, but you can't do it once it's built, obviously. You can't change the outside shape. You can't make it bigger or anything like that usually. But you could move walls or change them slightly. So if you're having something built, talk to the builder if you want a room a bit bigger, if you want 2 bedrooms instead of 3 bedrooms or something like that. Something to talk about at that stage. And the other aspect to that then is what else can you change inside if you're buying a new place before you buy it? So you can always usually choose your colour of the floor tile. You can always usually choose the bathroom and the kitchen. Yeah. But also, other than those sockets, I mean, nowadays, you know, you want the bedside lamp, but you also want to put your phone in, you want to put your tablet in, you know. At that stage, get some extra sockets put in all over the place.
Spain notorious for having very little sockets compared to Ireland, like for
and the UK, particularly like the apartments I've bought that have refit after the sort of have been like 1980s. And literally in the bedroom, you've got one, or you might have one on the headboard wall and one on the footboard wall. If you see what I mean. In the lounge, you'll have one in a corner and one for your TV. They're just not enough on them.
No, it's definitely not enough. No.
And kitchens, because I mean you get air fryers, toasters, kettles, you know.
Yeah, because Spanish people don't use kettles.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't think of all that kind of stuff. They don't really use toasters that much either. Probably more these days, but
air frying.
not in the same level as
Yeah.
us. So that they don't think about plugs. They don't think in the same, or sockets in the same way as we do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we've talked about this before. You would have to look at your power supply for that, because if you're going to put loads of sockets in, you want everything plugged in and working at the same time. Standard is 3.3 kilowatts. I mean, a big kettle is 2.5 to 3.
Yeah.
Put that on, you can't put anything else on.
And sometimes, if you've got just one thing on in the background, it could be like TV, and then you put your kettle on. It's like the Spanish electricity is like, oh, what's this?
A surge.
Kettle.
Let's flick it off.
Flick everything off.
Yeah. So
It's funny. I remember like when I came to Spain, and I was totally shocked at Spanish people boiling their water for tea in a pot. I was like, what are you doing? And I'm like taking out a kettle, and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
What's that?
They are still quite rare though, aren't they? I think it's only the foreigners that use them.
But once they're introduced to it, they can't go back. It's like, it's amazing. They're heating up their water in the microwave for a cup of tea.
I mean, the only place I've found that has a lot, those two places. Court and Glaze have always had a lot of like kettles and things, and so has Media Market, because I think it's because it's German.
Yeah.
But when you go in a normal, like a Spanish electrical shop, they might have three kettles and 3 toasters.
Really awful ones as well. Aren't they? Yeah.
So you need to shop around if you want one of those.
Yeah. Interrupted you. So sockets, you can get those put in when you're getting your house built, or
get some
changed
extra
or added.
ones, But I mean, you might have to pay a little bit for it. It might be loads cheaper than having to do it once you're in.
Yeah.
You know, especially with the plastering and all things like that. So, if you can get them, just put some extra ones in.
Yeah.
Decide where you're going to put your sofa and get some extra sockets put in. A really good thing, I thought of this the other day, is if you are having something built as well, this is just like for thinking ahead for yourself in the future. They'll usually do the electric and the plumbing, and at the end they'll do the plastering before they do the painting. Go into the property before it's been plastered and photograph every wall. So then, in the future, if you want to put a picture up, you want to put a mirror in a bathroom, you know where all the pipes are, and you know where all the electric cables are. In the UK, a plumber that did my house told me this, he was an English plumber, he said in the UK they usually go, say from the kitchen sink, or the bathroom sink, down to the floor and then along. Yeah. So you virtually know that above it there's not really any water. They do not do that in Spain. They take shortest route. So they will put a sink in, but then they'll have a stop tap. Because that is one great thing about Spain. They tend to put stop caps for each room. So you'll have one for the bathroom, one for the kitchen, as well as the main one. So, but they usually put the ones for the rooms high up in a corner. And so you'll find that potentially the taps will go a 90-degree angle up to these taps in the corner, but you don't know if that's the case or not. But so get in, go in early, while they're doing that, take some pictures of every wall, and you know where they are. Even just for putting a picture up, you don't know if the cables run down that wall or something, electrocute yourself. You don't want to be doing that. The other thing as well is they don't use timber is really expensive, so they don't tend to use plasterboard and timber like you would in the UK for internal walls. They use these ceramic bricks that can be very thin, very strong, and it's a solid wall effectively. But some of them can be 5 centimeters thick. If you're putting a picture up with a normal drill bit, you can go straight out the other side. I've done it.
Like 2 weeks ago, he was standing in front of the wall and he put up loads of shelves for me. And I was coming up the stairs, I was like, oh my God. And he was standing really proudly in front of the wall. What? Yeah, I was like, yeah. He's like, I did a great job, didn't I? I was like, yeah, except for the holes in the wall on the other side of the wall.
That's why you got pictures on the stairs.
Then we're going to have to start sticking Max's pictures up on the inside.
Yeah, so be aware of that. If it does happen. It's not a negative, it's just be aware. Get a short drill bit.
What was it you were saying about, or I saw in the notes here, about how they put the sockets so that it's like for 2 single beds, so they'll just put one in the middle of the wall or something.
So again, they don't know how you are going to occupy the property. So I mean, if it's for you and you've got you're buying a property that's 2 bedroom and you want it for 2 couples, then obviously in the second bedroom you'd put the sockets on either side, not in the middle. They tend to do it as standard. You'd tend to get a main bedroom, which would be sockets at either side of the bed. And then in the second bedroom, one in the middle, the idea being that you have a bedside either side.
Yeah.
The problem with that is it's really in the wrong place. I would suggest that you get 2 sets put in, so either side.
Yeah.
A lot of cases, the second bedroom might have, say, patio doors and the wardrobe will be sort of the back wall of the house, and then the patio doors will be the left and the beds will be in between. There's 2 dead spaces there, we call dead space. There's one, the space in front of the wardrobe. You have to leave at least a couple of feet to be able to stand in front of the wardrobe. So there's a space there where you can put a bedside table.
Yeah.
On the other side, if it's a patio door and an opening patio door, you have to be able to open the door. So again, there's a dead space on that side of the bed, so you can put a bedside there. So I would put the sockets right at the end of each side.
Yeah.
If you get a situation where you're using your property for golfers, 2 blokes don't like sleeping together. So if you were setting it up to be a rental for golfers, you'd put 2 singles and put them together in the main bedroom. And then in the second bedroom, you put 2 singles, but perhaps spread them out.
Yeah.
But even with the sockets on the outside, you're still only using a dead space, so it's fine. So you can put a gap in the middle. If they really don't want to be that close together, they can literally lift up on the bedside, put it in between, and have a big gap.
Yeah.
So, just be aware of that. When you do go in your property now it's more nearly finished, it's been plastered and it's nearly finished, use that at that point to measure everything, measure where the sockets are. In the bedroom, measure between the sockets so you know how big a headboard you can buy. That's what we used to do. We used to go into the show house with a plan. We would literally measure every single wall so that we knew where the orientation of the room was, where the beds were supposed to go because they've been set up. The only thing you have to be aware of that is when you're going looking as well, is that make sure that your property is the same way round as the show house.
Yeah.
Because especially over here, they like chaises. They love chaises for some reason. The orientation of the chaise will be determined by the layout of the
Yeah.
house.
So left-hand facing or right-hand facing?
Yeah.
Do you tell people about the left-hand facing, right-hand facing? Because some people think it's one way and some people think it's another.
Yeah. But companies do.
Yeah.
When you're buying, companies think it's one way, other companies think another. We always used to do it. Which way did we do it? We were looking at it or
You
sitting
did
in
it
it.
a certain way first, I think, didn't you? But then when it was taken over by the other company, they did it
They did it
the other way.
We used to do it, I think, if we sat in it,
Yeah.
which side was it at? Which
think
I think makes sense.
Yeah,
Because it's a sofa, you're going to sit on
it.
it.
Yeah.
But they did it when you looked at it from the front.
Yeah. I guess it's as you're looking at it in the showroom.
I suppose so.
Maybe. Yeah. So you have to, really keep that in mind that, if you want it like the shades on the left or you want the shades on the right. I know a lot of people who've made that mistake, myself included.
And we get the blame.
And we get
We've never been in the house.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to really think about where you want it, but then also make sure figure out what the actual store where you're buying the sofa, what they refer to as a left-hand facing or a right-hand facing.
I would be tempted, when they took over as they did it more perhaps than we did, I would draw it on the paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
So draw the which way around you want it to be on the paperwork.
So make sure you
there's
get
no argument
yeah.
afterwards.
So that'd be something for everyone to do. Make sure you get your sofa when you purchase it, even if it's a corner or a chaise, to make sure that they draw the way around it's supposed to be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I suppose it's the same with things like cabinet furniture. If you've got a TV unit with a side unit and you want the handle on one side, same thing, just draw it. Quick drawing of the base and the side unit and just draw a little handle on it. So when it comes, it's the right way around, anything like that. Just a good time. It helps the company as well, to be honest, because especially if there's a bit of a language issue.
Yeah.
Drawing it.
Yeah, you draw it and then get them to draw what they've ordered and then everyone's happy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And if you get it wrong, then it's your fault. And the other thing, this is a bit more technical, and it's something I haven't seen here, but if I was doing a new property, I would do it, is I would put extra sockets by where you're going to have your sofa, but linked to a light switch. So that literally you can come in, flick the switch, and the lamps come on.
Yeah.
It's really nice, because you don't always want the big light on, piece of pastry, you don't want the big light on, but that's all you can put on when you go into the house. But if you're going in through the front door or you're coming out of the kitchen, have a socket linked to 2 sockets that are for the lamps.
Yeah.
Literally, you can turn them on and off as you come in there. And also the bedroom, it's lovely. Walking in, flick a switch, and the bedside lights come on.
That's
nice. Something to do. But you can only really do that at a stage where if you're either having a house totally reformed or you're buying a new one.
Yeah. It's like someone's melting me when they turn on the big light in the sitting room. I'm like, turn it off. Turn it off. No, I hate it.
Especially the fan as well.
Yeah. And then what's this? Have you already spoke about this? Kitchen cupboards, floor tiles. You said that, did you?
Yeah, that was a bit about, when you are buying a property, they'll have a selection that you can choose from.
Yeah.
And if you don't like those, you can usually upgrade a little bit if you want to. So you can change kitchen cupboard style and colour.
Yeah.
And also you can change
colours as well, usually included, isn't it? You usually change that.
And what that nicely takes us on to with the colour is that what you've got to bear in mind is it's different. If you're coming here to live, that's your house. I can't really tell you a lot, because it's your personal choice what you like.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm saying. We're not saying you have to have this taste or that taste.
No,
whatever you like.
that is personal. But one thing, it does make sense is that effectively in Spain, and it's probably the whole world, there are two base colours of sort of furniture theming. There's beige or there's grey.
Yeah.
They are the two that you link off, that you choose different colours from. The thing with it is that you're just going to be stuck with those. That's a really expensive thing to change. If you want to retail your house because you've chosen the wrong colour, it's going to cost you a lot of money and a lot of upheaval and everything. So you need to get that right. And so don't go too dramatic on it. Don't go dark grey, don't go dark brown. Keep it like beige or light grey or something so that you can change the colour with accessories. Because you're going to have it such a long time and it's a massive cost. So, do that. But like I said, you can go to the builder and say, I really want something a bit different. And I'm sure in most cases you'll be able to get it.
I always recommend, I like when people have like that mid-grey colour. I think that looks really good. Or sometimes a lot of new properties are doing like those wood look tiles as well. They look really nice. Yeah. The thing I don't like about the bright tiles, they're lovely, and they brighten the whole place up but you can see all the dirt. Like you have to be sweeping the floor 3 or 4 times a day. As soon as your hair falls out, my hair always falls out. You can see it all over the floor. Like that's the only thing that annoys me. And my mom doesn't like how you can see footprints and stuff. So if people walk around with their bare feet and stuff, like the floor is really shiny when it's bright, so you can see the minute it's dirty, you can see it. It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers my mom. And mom's like Monica.
It's all, mommy, it's all.
My mom has those. I don't know if you've seen them. You can buy them on I don't know, Amazon or whatever. But they're like, I'll probably get them any shop. But they're like those cloths that you use to clean the house. But you can put them on over your feet.
Yeah.
With the long strands. So I bought them for Christmas one time, and she was like, it's the best present that anyone's given me. So she's literally cleaning the floor all day with her slippers.
Yeah. One thing with colour to think about is that, particularly if you're buying it to use as a holiday home, so you've now got whatever it is, 90 days, 80 days, is that what you buy will last a lot longer than your main furniture would do in the UK. So if you're buying a sofa, and it's a good thing. If you're only using it effectively, some people might only use it 8 weeks a year. Yeah. That's going to last 5 times longer than your sofa would in the UK because you're using it for 8 weeks.
If you're not renting it out.
If you're not renting it out. So pick a colour that is going to be acceptable for a longer period of time. Yeah. And accessorize it with colour. So buy cushions in a bright colour, bright green or whatever you want to do. Do voiles in a bright colour. Paint one wall.
It's a voile.
A curtain that doesn't really work as a curtain. That's a voile. Must be French.
What do we do? A net curtain?
Yeah, like a net. Yeah, a posh net. It's a posh net, a voile. Yeah, multicultural.
I've never heard of a voile in Ireland.
Multicultural, mate. All these this French lingo. So get that in a bright colour. Paint one wall, paint one wall, the TV wall, a dark colour. Yeah. Paint your headboard wall in your bedroom, a dark, bright orange or whatever you want, fine. But don't do the furniture, don't buy your chest of drawers in that colour. Don't buy your TV unit in that colour. And keep your sofa neutral. Just accessorise it with cushions. Save your fortune.
I would say if you're going to rent it out, go neutral dark, like the grey colour, because you'll get stained. We
used to do packages for people, and they effectively were buying it to rent it out. Yeah. And we would. That one of the things was we'd do your headboard in your main bedroom. We'll do it in a colour because it looks pretty impressive, and we'll do the wall behind the TV. If it's the right kind of wall, we'll do the wall behind the TV. And then what you do, you go into the Chinese shop and you buy these canvases that they're square. They're like 60 centimetres square, £4. Put your brush in the emulsion, put 3 stripes on one end, stick it on the wall. It looks like you've got ready-made art on the wall, and all it is 3 brushes of emulsion. But it just makes it look good. But what it allows you to do, in 3 years' time, you can spend €30 changing some cushions, change your voiles or your nets, change your nets, and then also paint the wall behind the TV.
Yeah, boosters and
changes it. It's great for photos. Looks totally different. Looks modern because you use them whatever's the seasonal colour. You know, change it to that. Looks like you've totally revamped it, and you've done it for 40 quid.
Yeah. Rugs and throws.
But if you've got a bright green sofa and you want to change it to tones of blue or duck egg or whatever, you know, you've got a 600, 700 euro bill for something that's not worn out because it's had like a year's use. So, you know, those things.
You guys because I worked more in the office, so I wasn't really speaking directly to the customers unless they had complaints. And I would always.
Didn't have to work, no, never complain.
Yeah. I was twiddling my thumbs. But yeah, I listened to the guys when someone wants to come in and wants to order a strong colour. Yeah, I remember we had like a bright purple, or we had like a pink, or we had greens, or we had, and you always hear the guys trying to, get them back to a neutral tone. Yeah.
Put off. Because the thing is as well, with you know, you'd be ordering something, you're creating a contract for that, and you put a deposit down. If in the meantime of the 8-week waiting list, you think, oh, what he said was right.
Yeah.
You are stuck with that colour sofa. Yeah. You've paid a deposit and you've signed for it.
Because they've made it.
Yeah.
So
you've made it. It's not there.
And they're not going to be able to sell it.
They're not going to be able to sell it easily. I mean, I'll be honest. I went in and did a delivery once in Punta Prima, and I like Punta Prima, nice place. And this couple had bought everything orange. I mean, properly orange, bright. It looked fantastic, but it looked fantastic then. You know, I think if you went back now, you'd think, what? How it was, you know, on the day it looked great, but you know, would it still look like that after it'd been worn a little bit and orange had gone out of favour, you know, and then it becomes dated, isn't it? So, you know, just be careful of that. Think ahead. You can access it. You know, the places here for accessories, the Jisk, IKEA, you've got all them. You can buy anything you want and not would spend that much. But don't, on your main items, really think about, you know, what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
Unless it's your own house. I mean, if it's your own house, you can do what you want. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to tell you don't do it, but just if it's rental or you're not going to use it very much, just think about that.
Yeah. We did try to make people think about white a lot as well, because a lot of people have that kind of idea of when they moved to Spain, they wanted a white sofa. You know, it was kind of like the visualization they had was this.
And they do. I mean, they look stunning. No?
They do.
But they're still not practical.
You need to really like it's a 20-hour week job to keep it looking white.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, you know, if you really decided, you know, you send it because they do it in show houses, they do it with white fur, and they look fantastic. You know, they do look great. You know, this is it. We're moving to Spain. We want it to look like this, and it's coming around. If you're going to do white, you need to get faux leather, polypiel we call it here, or leather, because both are far more practical than fabric.
Oh, definitely.
And what you get nowadays is you get a lot of suntan oils that have keratin in to make you look round.
Yeah.
And so you come in here, you only got your 90 days, so you get older, you want to be in the sun straight away. So before you came, you started using all the colourants. That is a stain the skin.
Yeah.
Fabric, it will wreck it instantly. Because on most sofas, like this one we're sat here, you can't take the cover off. So you have to effectively, you know, try and clean it, and you just make it worse. You don't make it any better, you make it worse. If it's leather, then it is a stain of skin. So it will eventually, white leather goes yellow.
Yeah.
And that can be, if that was full sun for a year, that white sofa will be yellow in 1 year.
And then we had things like where people sat on their white sofa, a leather sofa, with like really dark blue jeans.
Yeah.
And the dye from the new jeans went into the leather and made it like a kind of a bluey
grey colour.
Yeah. Because like we have to remember that leather as well is like is skin, so it's absorbing those.
Any you know, now we're going towards, you know, everything natural cottons and everything. They don't take the colour like the artificial fibres used to do. Yeah. So, you know, if you've got chinos on, the colour will come out on the chino onto it. Yeah. And the other thing as well is sweat is an acid. Sweat helps take the colour out of the clothes, but it also helps put the colour into the sofa.
Yeah.
And so that's another issue.
So you would see an awful lot, well, not this enough for head, but, you know, headrest area on the leather sofa. You'd always see a change of
sweat and suntan oil.
And it's something people don't think about, because when you're in the UK or Ireland or somewhere where you have a climate like that, it's much cooler, it's damp, it's not dusty. But in this area of Spain, certainly the south of Spain, on the coast of Spain. It's dusty, mixed with sweat. This is disgusting, I know, but it's definitely something to keep in mind because you can see it built up on the
I guarantee
surface.
whenever we used to take, because we would deliver a sofa, a new sofa, but in a lot of cases we would take a sofa out, and you could smell it. You could smell the sofa like ombre soleil, just smell the suntan oil, and that suntan oil, it's grease effectively. And that, you get the dust on you, that goes into the sofa. It's not good.
Yeah.
But you need to, if you want a white sofa, you don't want to be doing it if you've got kids. You don't want to be doing it if...
Yeah, and you probably have to put like a little throw on it when you sit on it. So.
And then leather with the throws on it slides off. It's not comfortable, etc. Richard would laugh about this, but we probably did. We did a lot of leather. That was our main thing when it was our business. We had some brilliant suppliers, made great products, and our best selling colour was Marfil. Marfil is bone, so it's like a bony. It's not cream. It's a creamy grey.
Yeah, I was gonna say grey.
It works with a lot of things, but it's just that colour darker that it helps with the staining.
Looks really modern still.
Yeah, it looks modern. It fits in with the greys and the beiges on the floor. It does both. And that colour we sold, I would say out of 10 sofas sold, I would say 6 or 7 were Marfil. Yeah. Mainly as well because we sort of pushed people away from the lighter colours. Yeah. We always tried to make them go darker. Yeah.
Even if it's just a light grey, as you say, it's just enough away from that.
Just enough.
Startling white colour, to
stop it being offensive.
Yeah, because it's almost straight away you'll see, the white starting to, because when we get phone calls, straight away, oh, we've got a stain on the white, oh, the white is this seat that we sit on more than the other seats, especially because everyone... One
of the things that they used to say, we had to say when we're talking to somebody is you must sit in different seats. Nobody listens to that. Nobody, this week I better change and sit in the middle seat. Nobody's been sitting there. You sit where you sit. Yeah,
you've got where you see the TV best, or where it's more comfortable to read, or everyone's got their own little spot that they sit in. And you could see it, the people, and you don't think about it, and people would start to see that maybe the leather would, because all leather stretches a little bit, and the leather would start to stretch on one seat and not the others. Yeah. Or if you got the white sofa, you'd see straight away that it was starting to go a different colour, and the other seats wouldn't, and they'd be like, why is it only happening on one?
It's only happening on one. It's the only one you're sitting. That's the obvious thing. Yeah. Nobody sits in the other ones, so that's why I'm out.
It's happening on the recliner and just one seat.
Yes, it must be faulty. No, you don't sit in the others, do you? Oh, we do. We sit in one.
Yeah, they told us on the shop that we had to sit on all the seat cushions, so we sit on all the seat cushions. But it's funny because as soon as you look at a picture, you can see where people are sitting. Even the guy who used it, he was insanely talented. Mark. Yeah. Insanely talented. He could tell how the people sat on the sofa. Yeah. If they were sitting more so front. If they were sitting on their, it was like after a while you could start to recognise it.
You could see it from a photo. You could say that person's got a bad left knee.
Yeah.
It means they've got a bad left knee. I can tell by the way they're getting up and the way they're sitting down in it that they've got a bad knee.
Yeah.
Like it's you're all right. My knee's killing me. Here we go.
It was so funny, like how you could tell lots of stuff from just looking at the seat that the people sat in. But it's something to keep in consideration. You should sit on all the seat cushions actually.
If you can. I mean, if it's a sofa where the seat cushions are swappable,
switch them.
Switch them definitely and turn them over. Because some of them, if you get a sofa, like these Scandinavian style ones, tend to have loose back cushions, like these, and they may have loose seat pads. In some of them, they're not fabric on both sides. They're like an anti-slip on the bottom. It's actually cheaper than fabric, but they say it's because it's anti-slip. But if it's not, and you can turn them over, because you get like an indent that way. And then if you turn it over, you can put the indent and just makes it last a lot.
So I have all my bottom cushions and my back cushions can just be switched around. Yeah. And it also helps with the sun because you have to remember the sun is shining
through the window.
So it can, if you have got a darker material, which is why we always recommend the mid colours, because if you do go with like a dark grey, which is I have dark grey, the sun can start to lighten it. So if you just move it around, a lot of cushions around, so the sun is not shining on.
That's another reason for getting voiles or nets.
Your voiles.
Because they can help that. They can stop the sun coming
strength of it, And there are people who do these things that are really nice actually. They put like a layer of something on your window. I don't know exactly. There's loads of companies who do that. And they can like do different colours if you.
Yeah, UV resistant. We had it on the shop windows.
Yeah, it's
because
good.
because the sofas were in the window. I mean, it happens within weeks, I'd say, if you had something indirect sunlight in the shop
power
window.
of the
And so we had
sun,
this film put on, but once it was on, you couldn't really see it.
No,
Well, you
yeah.
can buy it. You can buy it on Amazon and all
Yeah.
sorts.
And people do it. Well, there's those people in the
Yeah.
businesses who do it.
Yeah, always
Put it on
business.
for it, yeah. And like say they do like little colours like gold and bronze.
Yeah. And they do one that's like a mirror
Oh,
as well, so,
so
you can't see
you can
it.
look out, but they can't see in.
Yeah.
That's a good one if you have patio doors. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah,
So,
but yeah, and then also if you live near the sea, that salty air is also something to keep in mind.
One other thing to talk about, leather is more practical. In principle, it's more practical. Two things about that. One is when it is hot, leather is quite uncomfortable. It's sticky, it sort of sticks to you a little bit. But the other thing as well is that we've talked about the sort of sun cream thing, and you're going to get a situation where you say to your kids, right, no, you can't go in the pool for 20 minutes, wait while your suntan oil goes in. They're going to dive on the sofa,
Yeah.
so they're going to be covered in suntan oil, so it's going to get in the sofa. But the other thing as well is they come running back in because, I don't know, play school, play school's coming on television at 4 o'clock. They're not going to go and get changed, dry themselves off before they sit on the sofa. And with leather, water is not a good thing for them.
And the chlorine
Yeah, I'm the chlorine. Yeah, I'm the chlorine.
makes it go yellow, doesn't it, as well?
But the water, effectively, because it could surprise you now, but cows aren't actually shiny. When you see a cow, they're not shiny. Yeah, that colour, or bright red, or bright pink. They are natural leather, has no sort of grease in it. So what they do, they put a colour on top of it, and then they put a lacquer on to keep the colour on, and also to protect the leather. It's effectively sprayed on the top colour. The leather can be dyed. The colour can go through the leather. You can tell that when they're in the shop. If you turn the sample over, if it's the same colour as the front on the back, it means it's probably been dyed. If it's one colour on the front and a totally different colour on the back, it means the colour's been sprayed on, like paint. So going back to the kids coming in, the trunks are wet or the shorts are wet. They dive on the sofa. They sit in one place. The water from the shorts can create effectively a layer between the plastic coating and then the leather.
Yeah.
Because it gets cracked a little bit as it bent and things. What will happen then? It will start to flake.
Yeah.
And the colour will start to come off.
Don't stress. The leather is not flaking. It's just the
It's the
top
colour,
layer. Yeah.
So it's not damaged as in structural damage, it's just colour damage.
Yeah.
But you can get that repaired.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is, again, with the sofa is that if it's something that's not got removable cushions, the whole thing is going to have to go, or the person's going to have to come to your house and do it. But both of those options are possible. But it's just something to be aware of.
And I think the quicker you get that fixed, the better, because it can go through all the layers. So what we've seen before, I think it was actually the case with the dark pair of jeans on the white sofa, where he was able to clean the layer off the top, but then it was in the leather, so it kept coming through. So yeah, when you see that,
we had a cracker, little stories that come back in mind. But we bought when we had our first business, we decided we were doing so well with this one style of sofa that we were going to order one ourselves from the Far East. And we ordered them, and we ordered them in about 3 different colours. Anyway, they all arrived. They were great. They were really good sofas. And then we were looking at I was with Richard, we were looking at this sofa, and like, does that say Jaffa on the side? And it literally had this, the frame had been covered in effectively an old orange box, and the ink from the Jaffa came through the side of the sofa. Yes, it does say Jaffa. It does. It's a nice old one. It says Jaffa.
And then sometimes as well, you would see like where a cow had been branded, or where like there was a shoulder or a neck, or I can't remember. You would see.
It
like,
used to say natural marking. If it's brushed against a barbed wire fence or something, you get a little.
This is a weird.
You can see them in it, and it is natural. If it's a good manufacturer of a sofa, that they sometimes have to use those, but they'll make sure they're in a position that they're not budget. It might be on the back of a cushion, it might be underneath a cushion. It's very, it's not really acceptable to have one in the middle of the seat, and it can be a weak point as well. So, particularly if it's like one from barbed wire or something, it could be a weak point. So you don't really want that in there.
Because some people who do like natural leather like the natural markings. and they would want them visible, but the guys would again say, you know.
I mean, that is one leather that you shouldn't have. We've talked about this before. There's a product called natural leather, which is effectively what we would call suede, effectively.
Yeah, it's like
suede.
untreated leather.
And it cannot come with any form of liquid or grease. So literally, you've been out shopping, you've even been in the kitchen, you walked into the kitchen, you don't know what
You swept the floor.
Yeah, and you've got a little bit of sweat on your hands, or you haven't 100% dried your hand properly. You got to sit down, you put your hand down next to you, you get a handprint, that will never come off.
No.
And that's not something that can be treated with colour.
No.
That is there.
Can be fixed, it's there forever.
If you said this before, in a previous episode, we refused, when we got taken over, we refused to have natural leather sofas in the store because it was just total. And they couldn't understand that because it was in the UK, it was one of their biggest sellers.
It's like cozy, it's nice.
Yeah, and it does look
They're
fantastic.
lovely, yeah. Like
But it's just totally impractical, 100% impractical. So, try and, this sort of, what do you call it? Is it warehouse look? What's the look where it's black metal and something like that?
Industrial?
Industrial, yeah. That has a lot of that natural leather.
Yeah.
But, don't have the sofa in that. You do an artificial one, it'd probably be fine.
Yeah. I mean, the sales team who used to work in the shop, they used to, actively tell someone not to buy natural leather when they came in wanting to buy
We
it.
get people asking for it, but we told them the reason. That could be somebody walking out in the shop.
Yeah.
But you might as well have them walk out of the shop because we did have one, didn't we?
We did sell some people would just have
they'd
to
order
buy
them in
them.
the UK without
As well.
putting through us, and we deliver it, and then we get them. I guarantee 100% of them were a problem.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I would say 100%, yeah.
And for the cost time, and it's just not right. It's not something you want, So please stay away from.
Yeah, living
natural leather.
in Spain, certainly in, I would say all of Spain.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have it in the UK, so all the UK. Get shot out. Get trumpy.
Trump. Don't mention him. R.I.P.
One thing we talked about, and again Catherine mentioned it as well, is that over here, I'm sure it's more than the UK, because when you saw the ranges, the proportion here is so much higher. The chaises are really popular in Spain. People seem to like chaise sofas. For me, they're totally impractical.
I think they look nice in the rooms. They
They
how
do.
the rooms are laid out compared to
They're
how
long,
rooms are laid
thin
out.
rooms, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whereas I think perhaps over in the rest of Europe, perhaps rooms are more square.
Yeah, but with a window and they're more square. So a sofa, and then all of a sudden it feels cozy. So you can have your 2-seater, 3-seater.
And you don't want it to feel cozy, that's the other thing.
Yeah,
So,
you want it to feel more open and open concept. And you've got usually patio doors. So people want to be able to see the patio door. So you'll have like maybe a chaise on this end, and then you can see all of the patio door with no sofa in front of it. I think it's the style of the room.
The thing with them is they're very big. The chaise is only really much use for the person that's sitting there with the feet up.
Yeah.
And it makes them totally irreversible in most cases. So you can't swap the roommate at all. The sofa has to go where it is, and that's it. And when you do get, I'm an advocate of not furnishing your property just in case somebody comes. But if there are just two of you, it's great when there's just two of you. But if two people come around with friends, somebody's either to sit with the feet up, or it's not that practical. I would personally go for, say, a 4-seater sofa and a footstool.
Yeah.
So you can create the same illusion, but
Or a recliner chair.
yeah,
as well.
but you can put your feet, you can sit with your feet up, but you can move that away. And
Oh, I
so
see what you
four
mean. So you
people,
can scooch the footstool.
yeah, so
and
four
then-
people
yeah.
can still sit in a row. You could move the footstool against the wall, put a couple of the back cushion, scatter cushions on it, and somebody could sit there. So you're getting 5 seats instead of 2 comfortable seats, and one person sat with their feet up and another one sat. So that is me trying to put my personal influence on you. But,
But it's from years of seeing how people live and
Yeah.
then hearing their feedback and
if you've got a 3-bedroom property, in principle you should be sitting 6 people.
yeah.
That's potentially what you could have. Is a corner sofa. Corner sofa give you more seats, but with a corner sofa, make sure the corner that the back is brought forward, or else it's impossible to sit there. You sit like lying with your legs up, and also there's a cutaway for the backs of your legs, so that person sitting in a corner can't actually sit there. And
Yeah.
you get the extra seats,
Yeah.
and that's giving you a lot of practical space, because you go in the show houses and they'll have a 3-bedroom brand new show house, and those round here, brand new lovely houses with a chaise, and that's it. So that can effectively sit 3 people in a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to start putting other stuff in, you know. Okay, your life is spent a lot outside, more than perhaps the UK, but you still need to come in the evenings and in winter and things like that. So,
I have a corner and a footstool.
Right, so I mean, you get maximum sort of attention there. Somebody can sit with the feet up, somebody can sit the opposite way and lie along it, and then the other person can sit the other one with the feet up on a footstool.
So I'm there by myself, I sit to watch telly, I sit in the corner with my feet up along the other seats, you know.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
And the other thing about the footstools is you can get some with storage. So so you can put things inside it, put the remotes in it, put magazines in it and things, so it gives you an extra bit of storage. I mean, that's one thing for Spain. The houses are never built with enough storage. You always have to have storage in your mind whenever you're looking at the house. Is there somewhere you can put something for storage? I'll get to this a little bit later, but you know, when you're buying a TV unit, why not get a sideboard rather than TV unit? Put TV on top of it, and then you've got loads of storage.
Yeah, it's a problem, isn't it? It's not a lot of storage.
And the other thing, so carrying on with the sofa thing, is the sofa beds. We used to get so many people coming in and say, I need a sofa bed because my grandkids come over and they're going to have to sleep on a sofa bed. And like, the answer is, oh, hold on a minute. Well, are you sure that's what you need? If that's going to be your main sofa in your lounge, you're effectively buying something that's probably going to cost twice as much as the normal sofa, be half as comfortable as the normal sofa. So for 50 weeks of the year, you're going to be sitting on a sofa bed that is uncomfortable because 2 weeks of the year, 2 grandkids come that don't really care where they sleep, to be honest, as long as they're sleeping somewhere. You know, in that instance, if that's why you're doing it, then for me, go to IKEA or Jivs and buy Decathlon and buy a blow-up bed or 2 single blow-up beds for €10 each that can be put in the second bedroom on the floor, and they sleep on those. Because the other thing about the kids being in the lounge is you've got to be quiet, eh? From then on, you have to go to bed at 7 o'clock and you have to tiptoe about because they're trying to go to sleep, or they won't go to sleep because they can see you. You know, they can see you through the patio door and you're sat outside. So, you know, get a couple of time and do that. If it's different...
You can feel the sofa.
I mean,
there are great sofas.
There are some fantastic ones. And I've got one. We've got one in my mother's apartment. And they call them here an Italian mechanism. It's now no longer Italian, but I think it was designed in Italy originally. It's like a Z-type mechanism, but you can put really good mattresses on some of them. They start cheap, and the cheap ones are cheap. You know, it's like everything. The cheap version is a cheap version with a very thin mattress. But when you get to sort of 800, 900, 1,000 euros, you can get really good quality viscoelastic or latex mattresses on them.
Enough mattresses on them.
And they are designed for studio apartments where somebody's got to sleep on them every night. So that's how good they have to be, and that's how good they are. So, you know, if you do need a sofa bed for genuine reasons, and one of the reasons I would say to that is if you say buying a property on a golf resort, for example, it's a 2-bed apartment, you're going to stay there as well, so it's your room. So you put a double bed in the main bedroom, and you put 2 singles in the second bedroom. That means effectively 2 blokes or 2 people have to sleep together in the double bed, and they won't want to do it. So there's 2 alternatives to that. You could put 2 singles and put zip and link, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Or you could put a good quality sofa bed in the lounge, so that you can have 2 people in the twin room, 1 in the main bedroom, and 1 can go, if they're snoring or whatever, can go to the sofa bed. And it becomes...
Or even if some of the box rooms can be small, if you want to optimize the space, it's not a room you're going to use all year round.
Yeah, like in an office like this one.
Yeah, like this. So this is it's not a very good sofa bed.
Well, this is
not comfortable, but it's a sofa bed in the office, and then it's, you know, you can use it as an office or you can use it as a craft room or whatever you want. And then if someone comes to stay, well, you can open it out into the sofa.
The thing with on the golf resorts is that a lot of the time they'll come as a team of 4. So you need to be able to accommodate that comfortably. If you're doing a lot of lets and it's a letting property, I would then put the 2 singles in the living room as well. But if it's where you're going to use it yourself, you're going to let it occasionally, or husband might come with 3 mates or whatever, then, you know, you're worth thinking about putting one in the line. But only for that reason. The other thing as well is to be careful with your sofa bed is that you're going to, if you advertise it, so you say, right, it's a sofa bed, so now it can sleep 6. You're going to get people who put 6 people, 6 people and want to stay in that property. You might only have 1 bathroom. they are also people who are trying to save money. So they're not likely to be the best kind of renters.
Yeah.
So even if you put a sofa bed in, I personally wouldn't advertise it as having a sofa.
Like a backup.
Yeah, it's a backup for the in case of, if your friends are going, or you go with your friends and you don't mind. But don't say it's 6 years.
Tourist license.
You wouldn't be allowed to.
I don't know if you'd be allowed to because they determine how many people can sleep there.
Yeah.
And so it might be, you have to pay attention to that first. But but it might be a case of it's not necessarily going to go on Airbnb and booking. Maybe it's more like used between friends and families and stuff. So you have to keep that in mind. Yeah.
Good.
So do you want to zipped mattresses?
Yeah, so link
it's a nice, link up into the next one. This is always a revelation. People are like, wow, this is a fantastic idea. Like, not many people know about it though, I would say.
So what you can get here, I mean, I'm sure you can get everywhere now, but you can get what's called zip and link. So you can have zips put on normal mattresses. On most Spanish bed shops, they will do it for you. I don't think IKEA would. I don't think Gist would. But if you went into a proper Spanish bed shop that, have effectively Spanish mattresses in there, you can get them zipped. So what you would do then is, if you are using it for rental or you're using it for multi-occupation, even if it's yourselves, is that in the main bedroom have 2 beds that are singles effectively, but with zips on the mattress. And the reason why you put the zip on the mattresses is because it loses the gap. If you put joiners on the base, effectively you've still got a gap, so you can fall down the gap. But if you put
shift around.
If you put the zips on, they come usually they're about half the length of the mattress, one on the top, one on the bottom, and so you can do that. And what that will allow you to do is you can put super king bedding on it, so you can have a bottom sheet and then a super king bedding, or you can go for 280 centimeters. That's like a smaller single here, and very common. And you can use 160 bedding, which you can get from IKEA. 160 wide bedding fits from IKEA. And that allows you then to have effectively a double bed or 2 singles. So if you do get 4 people coming out who are all, even just friends who are not related, but don't mind being in the same room but don't want to sleep in the same bed, you can separate them slightly.
But it's still comfortable as a double bed.
But it's still comfortable as a double bed, so that is something new. And in that case, then I would then put 4 beds in the house. So you could put zips on the other one if you wanted to, but you don't really need to in the second bedroom. But in the main bedroom, you give you 4 proper adult beds. The other thing as well, think about is perhaps in the second bedroom where it's single beds and it's staying as single beds all the time. They're not really movable, but have those as storage beds. Storage beds here, the canopy beds have been about, since I started in furniture. And the great thing about them is it's a lot of storage in that space. It lifts up, it's on hydraulic pistons, it lifts up and it's effectively the full size of the bed with storage. It's not an obvious type of storage. So if you are renting, you can put bedding under there, you can put towels under there. You can we used to put locks on for people, so they could put a lock on, so it would be a storage area that nobody could get into. Or a really simple way to do it, and nobody ever caught on in our history, was turn it around. So it lifts up from the head end and nobody even thinks about doing it. So then it gives you that storage. And then in your main bedroom, irrespective, if you're going to be moving the beds, to move them in and out to make them singles or double, I would suggest don't have.
They're heavy.
Because they're heavy without the stuff in them. Once they've got the stuff in them, you wouldn't be able to move it. And if somebody lifts the canopy up and tries to move it by pushing the canopy, you break it. So that's another thing. And in those, just get effectively a bed that's got the legs on. So basically, because you can still put some storage boxes in there, like you can put the suitcase.
Yeah, suitcases.
So you can still do that. And sleeping, it's no different. Effectively, it's a platform with a store underneath it. So the actual sleepability is exactly the same. I've got my house. We've got sort of 3 double rooms, all with double beds, but everyone is storage bed. And the amount of stuff you get.
I have a storage bed as well. Just because obviously this room you have the sofa bed. My son has his bed, and then I have a storage bed, and it's amazing. I have all like, what you call them, where you suck the air out of the bags. And it's like, so all like, summers, once it changes from summer into more autumn, winter clothes, then I put all them into Ziploc bags, that what they're called? And put them under the bed, put all your beach towels under your bedding, all those little.
You can do that. I mean, you do need a duvet here. I mean, we're not there yet, but in a few weeks you'll need you know, perhaps a sheet and perhaps a blanket. Or if you're into the duvets, you get the summer duvet. But by the time you get to January, February, you need like perhaps a 13 tone, not a ridiculous one. But you need to keep that somewhere for the rest of the year because you can't have it on your bed. It's too long.
They're great. And you know, like while we're speaking about the Spanish, well, I call them Spanish mattresses, right, and Spanish beds and stuff. But the suppliers are amazing. Yeah. Like they will pretty much suit anything you want.
You always see everywhere. I want an English mattress because Spanish mattresses are rubbish.
Oh my
and what
God.
that tends to be based on is the mattresses that were put in show houses or the mattresses that were put in when you used to get packages when you bought the house, and they would put the cheapest mattress in because it looks exactly, once you put a throw over it, it looks exactly the same as a good mattress. Spanish mattresses, good Spanish mattresses are as good, if not better, than English mattresses.
Well, better for the country you're living in.
Yeah, because they're made for this country.
Yeah.
And the sort of 2 or 3 things they tend to do is they put on the side, they'll put breathable like valves, so like a little circle and 100 of them. And that's to allow air to flow in and out of the mattress. Yeah. So you're hot, you know, you're in a house that hasn't got aircon, you're tossing and turning. As you toss and turn, it works like a bellows. So you're tossing and turning, the mattress is going up and down, and it's sucking and blowing it out air. And what's that doing is drying the inside of the mattress. So your sweat is going onto the mattress surface, and effectively going inside is like humidity. Your tossing and turning actually creates the bellows and dries the bed. Yeah. Which is, you know, fantastic.
And then you've got mattresses like my son has a mattress on one side it has the cool gel. Then you flip it over in the winter, and on the other side it's like warmer or something.
Yeah, woolly side.
Yeah, so you've got a summer side and you've got a winter side. So you flip it over depending on what you want to do, and they do a lot of those.
And the gel thing is sort of developed during the time that we have the business. Really? At the beginning, that weren't available. Viscoelastic had just started, and the company here had supplied mattresses to NASA. Dorset supplied in viscoelastic because they're very comfortable but can be very thin, and so they want to release space. And so we started to sell them, and they are brilliant. I love it. Some people love it, some people don't.
That depends on everyone's kind of.
Can't tell you that.
No. You have a bad back, you have a bad hip, you have whatever. Everyone has a different ways.
Yeah. And but then the silicone sort of came, the gel sort of came in, and it doesn't. People think it's like electric or a process. It's not a process. It's just effectively a substance that feels cool.
Yeah, you can notice it.
Oh, you
like
can notice
freezing
it.
or anything, but you can notice it.
It does warm up as you warm up, so it doesn't stay that cold all night. It's just as you first get in, you touch it, and it feels cool. Yeah. And it's just really designed to be enough to allow you to fall asleep. Yeah. And then, so, you know, and that is something that's available. They use a lot here now, breathable fabrics. Yeah. So the fabric is breathable. So you might see a mattress say, oh, I haven't got the holes that Paul talked about. Check that the fabric's not breathable. Because once you've got a breathable fabric, you don't need the holes. Yeah. So
they're all generally made with the climate in mind, with the lifestyle in Spain in mind. So I would recommend getting a Spanish mattress. I think they're amazing. And to work with, they were just the
companies are
best.
Fantastic.
Oh.
The other thing they do as well is, which they don't tend to do on other countries' mattresses, they siliconize the wadding. So they spray it with silicone so that it doesn't soak up the moisture. Because once a mattress gets moisture into the wadding, it starts to go mouldy.
The wadding.
The thing that makes it feel soft on the top. Yeah, so it can be cotton, it can be wool, it can be polyester. Polyester probably doesn't affect as much, but if it's cotton or wool, once it gets the moisture and starts to go mouldy, you cannot stop that. You know, eventually that will just be totally moist. It's bad for your health. So, and what they do, they put silicone on it to make it slightly waterproof, so that it doesn't soak in. So that's another reason why the Spanish mattresses.
They're thinking about all this.
Because it's just normal for them. They don't think it's different. Yeah. One thing they tend to do again in the show houses. Or if they give you packages, they'll give you a wooden slatted base. And you see these everywhere because people get rid of them straight away. The slatted bases are very good for where you've got a mattress such as latex or a viscoelastic, because they require, it's made like a crunchy. So effectively, it's loads of, or an air hose, loads of little holes. They require the air to move out of it to allow you to sink into it. If you put that kind of mattress on a solid platform, there's nowhere for the air to go.
Yeah.
So they react really slowly and they feel really firm. They work better when they're on a slat.
Yeah. So if you get a bed that has the storage in it, they're one usually, aren't they? All
You can get both. You can get both types.
Okay, yeah.
So if you are buying a mattress like that, so a viscoelastic or a latex mattress, then perhaps look at having slats. Try it. But perhaps having a slat just to allow the air to go through.
Yeah.
However, if you buy, and this is where it comes in, a lot of mattresses are made with springs. A spring does not work well when it's sitting on a slat. The ones that's actually sitting directly on top of the slat is okay. But there's a big gap, and then the spring falls between the gap. It's not working properly, so you lose the support of the spring.
Made it extra springy.
No, well, probably a little bit, yeah, because some of them are springy. But if it falls between, the spring is not being supported. It's being supported there, but if it's there, it's not doing anything.
Makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah. So or it could be like that, and it's falling off the side. So on a sprung mattress, try it on a solid platform, and then try the viscoelastic and the latex on the slatted platform. You might find that on the solid platform, it's still comfortable for you. I have all mine on solid platforms. I prefer them. But you can have it on both. But don't put a spring on a slat.
Yeah. A good bed shop will have lots of different bases with the mattresses on top. And in fact, the guys who used to work in the shop would move the mattresses around for people so they could try it on a solid base and they could try it on. So if they were looking at this particular mattress, they would try it on different bases so they could feel the comfort depending on the base that they were maybe had at home. Because some people would just change the mattress and not change the whole bed. So you would have to make sure that you're trying it on the bed that you are actually going to be sleeping on. So make sure to do that when you go to a shop.
And spend plenty of time doing it. You spend like nearly half your life in bed.
Yeah.
It's a really important purchase, probably more so than the sofa. So go there and lie on the bed for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And just say, leave me. And also as well, lie on it how you sleep. If you sleep, I sleep on my side. You can lie on a mattress on my back and say, oh yeah, that's all right. Yeah. That's not how I sleep.
Yeah.
You lie on your side and suddenly you find on that same mattress you've got a dead arm in like 2 or 3 minutes.
Or a sore hip. I get a sore hip sometimes depending on the mattress.
And I love Visco. I've got memory foam. I've had it since it came out, tried it, love it. And with those, I can literally lie on my side, on my arm, and then when I turn back over, I don't know. And perhaps more important for ladies can sleep on the front on a memory foam mattress. As long as the thickness of the memory foam is thick enough. So, try those things and do it how you are going to use it. It's different. If you're doing it for the second bedroom, you don't, let me just say this to customers. In the second bedroom, you've got a rental property, you're coming over as a couple, you're going to stay in the main room. So that one you're going to set up so that it suits you.
Yeah.
In the second bedroom, it could be your friends, it could be rented, you don't know what they're going to like.
Yeah,
so I would just go medium firm sprung mattress.
Yeah.
It's what a hotel would do. A normal hotel would do. Good quality would be medium firm sprung mattress in that room. And that's going to appeal to the widest amount of people.
One in 10 sleep on it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. 1 in 10 might say it wasn't comfortable, but 1 in 10 would say if you put a 30-inch peacock film on or whatever in that, another 9 people will like that one.
Yeah.
So you're never going to get it right. So don't go mad, don't go ridiculous in the second bedroom if that's what it's for. If it's for your 2 kids and they have this type, this firmness and whatever, okay, put the same one in there.
Yeah, because they say a little bit firmer for kids, don't they, when they're growing.
I mean, there is a thing that's totally untrue. They say that bad back, hard bed. Absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. If you've got a bad back, you need to know why you've got a bad back. So some people have a bad back because their spine is too straight and should be more curved. They should have a softer mattress to help them curve the spine. Some people have a very curved spine and should be more straight. They could really do with perhaps a firmer mattress to make them sleep more flat.
Yeah.
But there's no, firm mattress for that back. Absolute rubbish. Anybody tells you that. If a bed has a picture of a back on it and says it's for you, it totally depends on your situation. So,
Yeah.
you know, we never used to say a bed was. We used to say, why have you got a bad back? You know, what is the reason
What
for
is
your
wrong
bad
with your
back?
back?
What's your
Yeah.
doctor told you? Because I can't say that's a good bed for a bad back. I don't know what the reason for your bad back
Yeah.
is.
Alex is, we've said before, is a chef on here, and he used to always sleep on a firm mattress. And I would say, of all the Spanish people I know, they lean more towards a firm mattress and a firm
Yeah.
sofa. The sofas, they also tend to be
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
firm. But he had always slept on a firm mattress because he thought, again, because his back was always be really sore from working, he always slept on a firm mattress. But I love a soft mattress. So I remember I got a soft mattress, and he was like, oh, this is amazing. It was
Yeah.
exactly what his back needed, was a
yeah.
soft mattress, you know.
Yeah.
I said, just try it. And I ended up getting a really soft, I love just soft mattress. And he hasn't slept, like he's slept amazing ever since we got a soft mattress. So yeah, it just proves your point.
Yeah. With things like the memory foam, the layer effectively is heat and weight sensitive. So say you've got a curved spine, you could be getting backache in your bed because your back's curved, but your mattress is very hard. You're effectively not supporting the curve of your back. So it's dropping down and giving you backache.
Yeah.
Whereas if you had a memory foam mattress, effectively that curve will be supported by the viscoelastic.
Yeah.
And so although it feels very soft, it's more supportive for your situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you are finding you're getting backache in bed, that we're worth looking at viscoelastic.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's on price with spring, because metal has gone so ridiculous in price that the price of the two are very similar. Whereas originally, viscoelastic was very, very expensive when it was new.
And it was new when it was,
It was a new innovation.
Yeah.
When they were doing it. And you could get different depths, obviously. So, you know, you might see a said, viscoelastic mattress, £100 or whatever. You need to check how thick the viscoelastic is. It might only be a centimetre. To be honest with you, a centimetre of viscoelastic won't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be getting up to 5, 6, 7 centimetres for it to create sufficient difference.
Yeah. And then like the mattresses these days have lots of different layers of different things in them as well. So you can,
and also
they'll show you usually, won't they?
Yeah, they'll show you. There'll be a picture of the inside of the mattress. There'll be a lot of tubes of sort of empty space. And again, what that is to do is to allow the air to flow in and out of the mattress. So some of them will just be solid, but others will have, you know, if you look from the side, they'll have different holes. Also, it'll have more holes. Let's get this right. It'll have more holes where your bum is than where your shoulder is, and less where the curve of your spine should be, so that your bum sinks further in, your shoulders sink further in, but your back is supported.
Yeah. And then there's these mattresses that you can get that make it, because the one with all the pockets in them, I remember they showed us, so if some person tosses and turns a lot in the bed, and so that they don't disrupt you on the other side of the bed, if there's two people sleeping on the same double mattress, then their movement is felt in the mattress, but you don't feel it on your side. And they'll show you by putting like a glass of water on this one side of the mattress, and then they'll move the other side of the mattress, and one side moves up, but your side doesn't move. It's really good, it's really clever. Some great mattresses are. Yeah.
It is a proper industry, proper.
It's great.
Well, industry, but you know, proper science. In the bedroom, obviously, you're going to need other furniture, and the same in the lounge. Spain is massive. I think it's one of the biggest in the world, producers of particle board, or chipboard as we call it. They're very big into office furniture. Office furniture tends to be very good quality if it's proper office furniture, for like commercial office furniture.
Yeah.
Although it's chipboard, it's very dense. It's very a lot of particles and a lot of glue compared to not many particles and very little glue. So it's very heavy, but it works well for furniture. But the only thing with it is to be careful of. It doesn't like water. If you're mopping, you know, and you're going to have a TV unit made out of particle board, put it on little plastic feet or something just to raise it off the floor. Because I mean, Olga, my partner, she literally throws a bucket of water on the floor and you say, "Oh, seriously." And you can see that the items, well, it's true. That's how in Cuba, that's how they mop the floor. And I'm told this is the case. But literally, she gets a bucket of water, she throws it on the floor, then she mops it up. And like, I'm like sat there with the furniture going, oh my God. You know, so put things on plastic little feet or metal feet all the way to raise it off.
I did it for half an hour trying to ring out.
Yeah, she don't do that. We've got these units that were like bathroom units, and but we go to the floor, and like the bottoms are just blown, and it's sticking out. And I tried to tell her, but she doesn't. She'll let experience it. Even like the door frames, because the door frame you go to the floor, the bottoms of the door frame, she just literally just bucket along, throws it and hops it all up. So going back, so you'll see a lot of furniture here that is particle board. There is different types. So what you should always do with that type of furniture is literally just lift it.
Yeah.
If it's really heavy, it means it's probably a very good quality particle board, and it's as good as anything, mate.
And something that you guys used to do as well was, if people ordered that kind of furniture, and maybe it was they wanted to put glasses and cups and stuff on it, you would order like a layer of glass to go on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, I do it now in my house, on my bedsides. To be honest with you, on virtually everything. I've got like a unit that's a TV unit, and we've put a piece of glass on it to protect it.
Yeah.
You can't. Well, one thing about particle board is once it's sort of broken, as in if it was marked or chipped, you can't really repair it.
No.
Whereas normal wood, you could rub it down and
Yeah.
start again. But on a lot of these very modern properties now, you want very modern furniture. And so, that is your only option to have that type of stuff. But there are different qualities. I've bought stuff, don't get sued like IKEA, but I've bought 2 different products from IKEA. One was fantastic. The other was horrendous. I mean, it was terrible. So, be careful of that. If you pick it up and it's very, very light, it probably means it might not even be particle board, then it might be literally egg boxes in the centre of 2 pieces of wood. And that is, it's not an egg box, but effectively it's the principal name box. And it's all right if it's never going to get touched.
Yeah.
Like they make headboards like that. But, you can't even fasten them properly unless you use their brackets. You can't put them in a different place because you can't drill through it. There's nothing in the middle.
Yeah.
So just be careful of that. But the particle board, if it's heavier, if it's Spanish made, it's likely to be better quality than something else.
Yeah.
And you can get very modern looking furniture then, and it is very popular.
Yeah. This area, particularly in this area, the Murcia region, is one of the biggest exporters of furniture in Europe.
Yeah.
It's really high.
I've been to Yekla a few times, and it's effectively a town of furniture companies.
Yeah. Manufacturing.
Manufacturing, yeah.
And they're manufactured there.
Yeah, they.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to try where possible to use Spanish furniture. One, because of supply.
Really quick as well, aren't they?
They're quick and good quality and good service and repairable. Like if you needed parts, they'd send you parts. If anything's wrong with them. So.
And they go to the ends of the earth for you, don't they? For all the customers.
They respect the business,
Yeah.
and then they did. They like working with us. We were always trying to be good with them, and they liked us. And it just means you can have.
People think it's because maybe they don't have as much work to the places. But when you look at the figures and the percentage of the amount of furniture that gets exported from this region, they always have plenty of business. It's just how they are,
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
It means you get something different as well, rather than everybody having the same furniture. We tried to have as many. We did a little bit of importing when it was in our business, but we tried to have as many Spanish manufacturers as possible. On the bed ones, we would push people to those beds, but they were right for here.
Right for here, yeah.
And they were good quality with the company that we used. If you are looking for furniture, if you look for the brand of Door Suit and find a store that sells them, they are good quality products and not expensive.
Tell me how it is, and I'll type it in the show notes for people so they can have a look.
Yeah, and the same with the sofa beds. We can put them on as well.
Yeah.
There's a couple of companies that do very good quality sofa beds. If you literally do a search for the brand, they'll usually tell you which stockists will have them near you, and get some good stuff.
Yeah. But there's some really great companies, not just the furniture, the whole companies are. Because I used to
the country as well.
Yeah, I used to have to deal with them, behind the scenes. If you needed a part, and I had to deal with a lot of different suppliers. And the ones in Spain were it was like, if there was something wrong with a Spanish product, you were like, oh, thank God. It was like, because you knew it was just going to be easy to get it sorted. Yeah.
I mean, things like that, the pistons on the storage beds. What happens is, I suppose it's a bit like a car. You're using it, you might only lift it up and down twice a year to put the stuff in it, and then to get it back out 6 months later, those pistons can dry, and it's hot, they can dry out.
Yeah.
With these companies, they just set them You
Send
know,
them over,
we
yeah.
do it, and we'd take, you know, and send it to us. We'd take them to the customer
Yeah.
and switch them over. If you're getting that from something made in China or whatever, it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah. And all these companies have like a, you know, like, what would it be called? They're like an intermediate, aren't they? Like a commercial person.
Yeah, the agent.
Yeah. And so they give you their mobile number, and they will answer that
Yeah.
morning, noon, and night, like, you know, any time.
It's quite outdated, really. I think as a
Yeah, yes,
system.
it is. Yeah.
You know, we used to, when I was in the UK, we used to have that. You know, but here it's still there.
Yeah.
You know,
And you call the agent, whoever it is, and they will sort it out.
Yeah, people bring mattresses in their own car and things like that to sort out.
Yeah.
Given, you know, we're in Spain, people are trying to survive, competing with all these massive international operations. You know, give them a look, have a look, see what they can do for you. And I think you'll be surprised at the stuff that they do.
Yeah.
And you know that if you do buy a Spanish-made cabinet, something happens to the hinges. Somebody pushes the door too far. It's rental. Somebody pushes the door too far and pulls the hinges out. You'd be able to get another hinge.
Yeah.
You know,
They'll just send it to you. Like, they were just so good, weren't they? So good, yeah. And someone is so, because I mean, the only reason that I used to maybe not be mad about shopping in a Spanish store would be I wasn't always mad about the style of sofa.
Yeah.
They're pretty classic a lot of times. But these days, my God.
I think it depends on the store. I was looking the other day.
probably.
I was looking for one. We were looking to get another apartment, and I went looking for sofas. And there are still some sofa shops that have all the Spanish
classic
style.
ones. Yeah.
But then there are others, you know, when they're next door to each other, that had more of a not European. You can't say that, can you?
Yeah.
But more of a
modern
or modern or traditional. You know, like Chesterfield or. You know, so modern as in it's currently popular, but different styles were effectively the wide arm, the pulley out seats and the shades.
Yeah.
And, you know, I went in one shop locally here and that's all they had. And it was a big shop. You know, like for me, style-wise, it had one style of sofa,
one style,
literally.
yeah.
But others, you know,
And as we were just kind of finishing up with the furniture shop that time, there were some suppliers that we were working with that were coming out with these sofas that were stunning. You could pretty much mix and match what you want.
Making all ourselves, we got all sorts of things in fridges,
Yeah.
recliners, a cool box for your drink. And all
Yeah, but
that.
also like you could have the back and this one could be one way and the back on the other part of the sofa could be a different
Different
way.
kind of mechanism for your feet on one side or not on the other.
Different filling in the seat that you're sitting on in this section, but we wanted a different filling of it. Oh, they're amazing.
A lot of the times when you go to the show house, they're likely to be furnished by a Spanish furniture shop.
Yeah.
So although you might want to not buy the package, you can find out where it comes from.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I mean, I know because I was in the business that somebody will probably get commission for selling you those things. So if you did go in on your own without mentioning where you buy the house, you might get a little bit cheaper. But you know, that's how the world works.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So
go in the Spanish shops as well. I'm not belittling IKEA or Jysk or whatever. You know, they have a purpose. You can get great accessories in there and stuff like that. Your main furniture items, I would be tempted to have a look in a Spanish shop.
Definitely. I would say definitely. Yeah. 100%.
And make sure as well you get the correct sizes for things. You know, so like on beds, you know, get that it's a proper traditional king size, so it's 150 by 200. That is a standard size. A standard double is 135 by 190. And the reason for saying that is that if you want to bring bedding over, which you might want to do, you know, those sizes are more standard everywhere. Whereas you start to buy some of the IKEA beds are really funny sizes.
Yeah.
So you're stuck with IKEA bedding and stuff, which you might not want to because you might have them stuff. So just check the size.
You can go into Primark these days and get gorgeous bedding.
Yeah.
And of course,
So a
they are all
single, just to
sizes.
carry the size, so a standard single is 190 by 90, that's centimetres. A standard double is 135 by 190, and a standard king size is 150 by 200, so slightly longer. Super King, 180 by 200. They're your standard bed sizes that you can get bedding virtually anywhere and in the UK. But if you start to do different widths, like case you do some 160s, they do some 140s, you won't get, if it's a fitted sheet, that won't fit.
Yeah.
So just be careful of that.
Yeah.
Or you buy your bed in that kit. Nothing against that kit, right?
No. I love it. Yeah.
You just check. So the sort of run back from that is, you know, if you're buying cabinet furniture for your house, just check the weight of it and check what it's made out of.
Yeah. And do you want to rule into dining
Yeah.
chairs,
So
legs.
so then the other thing, so we are, that sort of section might be like telling you to suck eggs or whatever, but this one's slightly different that people don't complain. First thing, when you get a situation where you've got a 3-bedroom house with quite a small lounge, we always used to say to people, concentrate on making it a comfortable lounge and not trying to make it a lounge dining room, that it fails at both things.
Yeah.
It's too small, the table you can fit in is too small for six people, right? And you've put a little 3-seater sofa in because you've wanted to fit the dining table in. It fails on both counts. Yeah. You're going to have a dining table outside, guaranteed, because that's why you're coming in. But if you're in a lucky situation where your house is big enough for an internal dining table, or you definitely want one and you need to make it space, be careful of 2 things. One, the size of the table, that they take a lot of space. And one thing that looks great but takes loads of space is a circle. A circle is effectively, teaching you really to suck eggs now. A circle is effectively a square with the corners cut off. Those corners could be where you put your glass or your side plate or whatever. So you're losing space, and you're not gaining any floor space by cutting the corners off a square. Yeah. But saying that, circles and squares are the worst for space in the room, because each person requires 50 centimeters from the table to be able to sit. A bit more for me, might be 55 or 60 in this case, but you need to be able to sit away from the table. You've got to, on a square, you've got to add that onto 4 sides. Yeah. So effectively, a 1 meter square table needs to be 1 plus 50 plus 50, 2 meters each way for that square. Yeah. If that had been a rectangle that was 1 meter 20 long or even 1 meter 40 long, you still need but it will be narrower because it's a rectangle, so it'll probably be 80 or 90 wide. So if you sit refectory style at that table, you will save nearly half the amount of floor space and have a bigger surface area on the table. Be more comfortable because people can sit next to each other, facing each other, but you've used so much less of the floor space in the room. Yeah. That's something to think about. Look at a rectangle rather than a circle or a square if you're tight for space. Then the second thing is, with tiled floors, it's very often that the grouting gap effectively is a rough edge. Yeah. It is a killer for table legs, sofa legs, and chair legs. Yeah. If somebody sits on it and shuffles and it gets stuck in the groove and then shuffles again, they're going to snap the leg off. Yeah. If somebody is pulling the sofa out because a toy's gone underneath it and they drag it and it hits the edge, effectively it's like it being stopped, and then you carry on pulling, you rip the leg off. Yeah. Dining table, you put the dining table close to the wall because you're not using it. When you come to use it, you drag it out across the floor and it hits the joint between things. You can effectively pull the leg up. Yeah. So be careful on the tiles.
Especially on the tiles here, because a lot of places have a more rustic look.
Yeah.
So it means you've got a deeper kind of groove there.
Yeah. And it is a killer, of legged furniture. Yeah. They do these things, they do them in Chinese shops. We used to sell them as well. They do these glidey things. Yeah. And they do work, but sometimes even the thing in the tiles, the groove in the tile, can pull the slider off as well.
But at least it's just pulling the slider off.
Yeah, it's not pulling the leg off. Yeah, so that is something to be aware of on the tile floors. You do get here, and my family have done it. They've put wooden floor down, laminate floor on top of the tiles. I personally think that's absolutely stupid. Because it's the same thing. It's you can't mop it properly, so you have to sweep it. Over here, you've got people going onto the beach. They come back, they've got sand on the flip-flops. Sand is effectively crystallized glass. If somebody then walks on that with a shoe, you're going to scratch your hand on the foot. Yeah. You can't wash it properly. It perhaps feels a little bit warmer, but in that case, use rugs. Yeah. Put some rugs down.
It's just too dusty around here, I think. Yeah.
I'm probably not the same if you're in a city. If you're in Madrid, it might.
Everywhere in Madrid, I'd say almost everywhere in Madrid has the parquet wooden flooring. It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, it's damper, it rains there, but in the south of Spain, on the coast, I'd say tiles all the way. Yeah. And these days
you can get tiles of wood.
But just going to say, these days you can get gorgeous tiles that look like wood.
You've got 2 types effectively. You've got ceramic, which is the normal one, the one that's majority used, but then you've got porcelain. And porcelain tends to be about 50% more. but it's virtually bulletproof. I mean, it's so hard, and it's, that will not scratch, that will not do anything.
Yeah.
You've got a waterproof surface, so like you can literally chuck a bucket of water on the floor and mop it up. And you're not worried about, something damaging in particular.
So I see a lot of on Facebook is people with marble floors.
Yeah.
Get around.
Yeah, you have to be careful. Over here, you've got marble and granite. You tend to
People
use
love
granite
the
a
marble,
lot
yeah.
for. Granite tends to get used for like windowsills, the door. Well, you've got like half of the door, the lip of the door for granite. But then you see, like you said, a lot of marble in bathrooms, particularly, and in kitchens. The problem with marble compared to granite is marble is very porous, and so what you'll find is that marble is covered with like a lacquer that makes it very shiny. But that is a bit like the leather, that is sprayed on, and it's put on. So it can come off. So it can wear off if you're cleaning it a lot, or it can be scratched off. But marble itself is very porous. So if you then spilt beetroot or something on it, or things in the bathroom, hair colour or whatever on it, it will never come out. It soaks into the marble. You can't get it.
Even if you wash the floor with the wrong product. Because I've seen people washing their marble floor with bleach, and it turns it a weird pink kind of colour as well.
So be careful of marble unless it's going to be properly looked after and properly lacquered. Granite is the opposite, really. You can't really do a lot wrong to granite. It amazes me that a lot of these new builds still use chipboard for the kitchen work surfaces. Wood is expensive here, and chipboard is expensive relative to the UK. But granite is, especially if you buy the Spanish granites, because there are three granites that are naturally found in Spain. One is like a beigey colour, one is a grey, and one's like a rosa, like a slightly reddy colour. If you buy those, I would say there's hardly any difference in price between that and that. But the durability of it is unbelievable. Whenever I buy a house, if I buy a house and it's got a wooden top, change it for granite. Yeah, every time. We did my mother's apartment that she's in at the moment. I think it was something like 130 euros.
Oh, wow.
The difference, because of the perception of having a granite worktop, is like, it's the best you can get. And in the UK, because you're thousands to have a granite worktop. So the perception is really good. It makes people think, oh, wow, a granite kitchen, you can market it as a granite kitchen. But the practicality of it as well. And it's easy, because all you do is take the wooden one in, give it to the bloke, he cuts you a brand new one in granite. Same size, take it back, I did it in a day. I actually dropped the first one.
Oh, God.
Second, so it actually cost me 260.
And I was actually going to say then, talking about breaking things, the marble furniture is also something that you need to consider as something that needs a lot of looking after when you buy it as well. We had a bit of bother when
we couldn't get it here effectively, could we? Or not with confidence.
No.
Because it is very, very brittle. When you meet the man at the granite place and you see him handling it, until it's fitted, it's actually quite fragile.
Yeah.
When he won't let you put it in your car yourself. He has to put it in the car, because with granite, you should always put it on its side, not flat. And so he puts it in the car and he makes sure you go there. Because once you've driven off, he's not bothered. It's no problem, mate. But it was like that with it. It looked great. People loved it. People wanted it. You wait a ton. The delivery blokes hated it. But the same thing, if it got put down wrong or laid flat instead of stood on its end, and then somebody stood on it, you'd break it.
Yeah. And then even as well, if something spilled on it or whatever.
Yeah, you've got a coffee table, it's designed, even in the name, it's designed to think you can put a black coffee on it.
Yeah.
If the lacquer's come off, you'll ring that and that's it.
So there'd be a lot of bother with that. So yeah, it looks lovely. People love it in Spanish houses especially, but it is a lot of upkeep.
They do artificial ones, they do a laminate. So they're good ones, right? But they're not cheap. They're probably not much different to the others. So, like I was saying about your dining table, you might have a situation where it's just better to have a big lounge rather than a lounge diner, because the house is not big enough. But you're going to definitely have, that's why you're buying it, you're going to have a table outside. So, worst case is Christmas Day, you could push the sofa out to one corner and then bring that table in and use it for your Christmas Day for that day. And then once you've finished it, put it back outside. The thing with it here is the sun is so strong. I mean, ridiculously strong. It wrecks everything. Whatever you put in it, if you leave your car out, if you leave something in the garden, it gets wrecked. It don't matter. The sun is ridiculously strong. There are actually 2 types of resin made in the Far East. Most of resin furniture now is made in the Far East. There are effectively 2 types of resin aimed at 2 different markets. There's one that is resistant to heat and one that's resistant to cold.
Yeah.
And you must get the right one because they both work the opposite way, the other way around. So, for example, if you really want the one that's resistant to heat, obviously, that will not go soft when it gets hot. It won't go too brittle. It effectively coats with the heat.
Yeah.
Anything in Spain is going to be affected by colour. By the sun is going to affect its colour. No matter what it is, people will say, "Oh, it's UV protected." It may be more UV protected than other things, but it's going to be affected by this.
And for something that's out in the sun morning and at night, basically.
Yeah, it's going to change colour. Your cushions will change colour within a day, within a week. They will change colour. So anyway, you need to be looking for this type that doesn't go effectively soft in the sun. If you put the Northern European one, let's call it, or the cooler climate one out, what will happen is it will get hot, it will stretch. I've seen
Really
stretch. I've seen a chair that with a dip in it, and that's no exaggeration, a dip in it like that.
Yeah. Because we obviously dealt with the 2 types.
Well, we didn't realise we were dealing with the 2 types.
Yeah, but if it was meant more for the UK market and maybe someone ordered it in the UK and it got sent here, my God, could you tell the difference?
Within days.
Oh my God.
Especially if it had a glass top, because effectively that was like a
Magnifying
magnifying glass.
Yeah.
And you look at the table and the wicker was like that underneath it.
Yeah.
It goes slightly back when it cools down, but if somebody sits in it when it's like that, that's it.
Stays like
You get
that.
stretched and that's it. The other way around, if you get the one that is the sort of aimed at the hotter climate, if that goes into a cold climate, so you take it back to the UK or whatever, then that one goes very brittle and it snaps on the edges very quickly, and so that's another thing you've done. The other thing as well is there's effectively two types of resin finish. There's one that is like a ribbon.
Yeah.
Very thin, but about perhaps a centimetre wide at most.
Like
And then there's another one that is it's the better one, is the round one. So it's like Lloyd loom furniture.
Yeah.
That is effectively, it's the same stuff, but one's been pressed flat and one hasn't. So it's a lot thicker. So that will last a lot longer. It's more expensive because it takes more strands to make a square metre, but it will last longer. We had some, when it was our business, we had some made, we sort of learnt about it, we had some made in Indonesia for us, of the Lloyd loom style. And I know for a fact there's people still got it now.
Yeah.
And it looks no different. That was good stuff. It wasn't cheap, but it was value for money per year. It was very good. So that's something to get for the outside.
But once you're buying it in Spain from a Spanish company, it's going to be made for the heat, would you say? Or what?
I'd like to think so, but it depends where you buy it from. If you buy it from an import that also sells in the UK, possibly not.
You'd have to make
you need to ask that question. It could be that they don't know. I mean, we only found that out not by accident, but like virtually by accident.
Yeah, once people started to show us that they had some bother with the...
And so they may not know that they may be sold, they might have bought something as an offer that would have been pre-made for the north of Europe, and then that order was cancelled, so somebody so they bought it here.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know, and they may not even know that it's not the right one. That's something to watch. On any kind of furniture, it doesn't matter what you buy a cover, and buy a cover made for garden furniture, not just a plastic cover.
Yeah.
A plastic cover, imagine what a plastic cover does. A plastic cover, if it's just say, like a tarpaulin, is designed to keep water out, so there's no airflow. You're effectively like putting a chicken in a roasting bag by putting your garden furniture in when it's 40 degrees, and you cook it. You literally will bake the furniture. And it's designed for the hotter weather. It's not designed for 60, 70, 80 degrees, which what it might create, might be in it. So buy a proper furniture, garden furniture made for garden furniture that allows it to breathe and everything. If you're in a situation where you're not going to be there, so you're doing the 90 days, so for another 90 days you're not there, always either put your furniture inside if you can, take it inside through the door, or put it on the north, so it's hidden by a north-facing wall, so that it gets the least sun possible when you're not there. And literally, then you have to just go out and put it out when you come the one.
And keep in mind that, you know, speaking of the rain right at the start of this conversation, that when it rains here, it doesn't rain like in the UK and Ireland. It doesn't just rain, like it comes down sometimes. All of the rain for the month comes down in 1 hour, you know, and that would, you would also see that would have a really destructive effect on the furniture, you know, because the furniture is just will not maintain that amount of water coming down on top of it. You can see, and wind and all those types of things. So you could always really tell, you know, when people had any problem with their garden furniture and they run up and they would send you pictures through, like you knew straight away that had been left out in all weather, you know, with no cover. And then, you know, the furniture that had been covered up and looked after and protected. And they'd be like, no, we always take it in. When you're looking at it, you could tell.
We know.
Yeah.
We know it.
But in saying that, you know, I saw so many pictures of furniture that was left out in all weather. And my God, it doesn't last any time.
You need to definitely be able to take your cushions in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's if you're coming out in a few weeks, I would put the cushions on. Not every night, because it can be a joke. Because in the night, it's not really going to be affected by anything, especially if it's garden furniture fabric, so it's waterproof.
Yeah.
So it's all right to leave that overnight. But you know, if you are, you know, going back to the UK for a week, put them inside. Yeah. And just do it. The one thing you see loads of, and then you have to think, why do they do it? Is the Bellini Sunbed. So the Bellini Sunbed it's an Italian company, and it's the one that you see on every single beach in probably Europe, not just Spain. Blue, usually blue when they're by the sea, white frame, and then the blue top. It's called the Bellini. It's made by a company called Bellini. If you go on the internet and search Bellini, you'll probably find the stockist. And the great things about those is they are designed to be commercial sunbeds. They're very comfortable. The blue part, which you can get in, I think, about 30 different colours if you're ordering them, is removable. Or replaceable, not removable. It's a big job. I actually have a technique for doing it. So if you do get those and you need to recover them, send me an email. It's a system. But with those, they stack, which is great. And so, you know, you might not be able to take them in and out all the time, but what we say to people is, if it's just temporary, like a couple of weeks, stack them, put them on the north-facing wall again. Always make sure you don't use the same one on the top. So if you're doing it frequently, like you're backwards and forwards, say you're renting it out and you've got a property manager, say to them, please can you stack them against this wall, but make sure you don't put the same one on the top every time, because that one will wear faster than the other ones. You can, from Bellini, because they're professional, you can buy proper covers that will allow a stack from, I think, is 2, I think, up to about 20, because they're commercial, so you can get covers for them and everything. And again, they're made out of breathable fabric and they're designed for it. But they're really, really good sunbeds.
Yeah, durable for sure.
Recommend them. Yeah, and comfortable.
I don't know about really comfortable.
Well, more. There's 2 types. There's one that's fixed, and there's one that the back goes up.
Yeah.
So you can get them on. But and they're not, you know, relatively. I mean, value for money, they're probably the best, because I think they're probably 120, 130 euros each, which is not expensive for somebody here. But the length of time they're going to last.
Yes, that's right.
And because you don't know always that you can get the different colours. So people say, I don't want blue, I don't want yellow. Yeah. You can get beige, you can get coffee colour, you can get grey, you can get black. You know, so you can get it to match other things. But practicality, somebody sitting on it in wet swimwear, that's what it's designed for. Yeah. You know.
Another thing that just popped into my mind when I was thinking about people complaining about garden furniture and stuff, don't put an umbrella on the roof terrace.
No. Yeah. There's 2 things you know. One, it's a lethal weapon when that flies
off.
A lot of people say, I need a really, really big base for my parasol because it keeps flying away. And if you put too big a base on it, the next thing that's going to happen is it's going to snap.
Yeah.
You know, it'll snap things. They're not designed for the wind at all.
No, so it's held or awning on the roof terrace.
Yeah. There's different types. With the Talbos, the ones that wind out, you can get ones that are automated. So when it becomes windy, they actually go back themselves.
Fancy.
Yeah. But you can also get, if you are in a situation with a property that's near the beach here, and they do a type that's got legs that go at the far end and then steel cables. And so when they get too windy, effectively they just float.
Open them, yeah.
So they're not going to damage in the same way.
You see them on streets more like that.
Yeah.
Literally on street. Well, people get on the top terrace because it's to cover a wide space, isn't it? Yeah. And they're good.
Be aware of, houses with a top terrace. They're sold as the Spanish dream and everything.
Yeah.
They are so hot.
That's
They're
so
really hot. And I sort of guarantee that if you are somebody living here and you've got a property with a roof terrace and a garden area, you won't use the roof terrace.
No.
You might do, you put your washing.
I was gonna say it's good for drying clothes. Drying in like 2 hours, but
so hot.
yeah, so hot.
Really.
It's more for people. They're more for people going here on holidays.
Yeah.
And they want to try and get as much sun as they possibly
And then they
can.
put, because you're gonna have to carry stuff upstairs, so you put the kitchen up there.
They're so cute. Yeah,
it's great.
We had friends over there a while ago, and they stayed in one of those new modern kind of apartments. And they had like a lovely communal pool, and then they had a big roof terrace on top. And they were on the roof terrace and had the kitchen and everything. They're lovely, but again, I was up there for an hour. I'm like with the heat. I was like, oh my God, it's so hot. Like the sun is just beating down.
And obviously there's very little shade at all, so you need to put some kind of shade. And also the protection of the furniture.
Yeah.
If you put a standard patio set up there, I'd be surprised if you got more than the summer into it. So be aware of that.
One thing that we used to get, I wouldn't say a lot of calls about, but we got some calls about, especially because people will be packing up and leaving, let's just say, and the properties again in them can get a bit damp sometimes, and they would have like aluminium kind of legs on the furniture
And garden furniture.
and garden furniture.
It's very hard to find steel garden furniture here, to be honest.
Yeah.
You get aluminium, and then that probably would have a plastic foot, so it wouldn't really damage the floor. But you're right, if you get these chrome-legged tables, chrome-legged chairs, make sure they've got a proper good foot on it, a good, perhaps a centimetre thick foot, not one that's just effectively got a piece of metal and then a piece of plastic stuck to it.
Yeah.
Because if the floor gets mopped and then that starts to rust, it'll go into the floor. And even on tiles, you'll struggle to get that off, but on marble, you'll never get it off. I mean, that's it. It's the same with garden furniture outside. If you can get steel, which you can't really get nowadays, it's not used that much, but if you could, if that gets wet and then starts to, somebody drags it and then that takes the paint off, and then that is sitting there, that mark will not come off an outside floor, and it looks a mess once you get loads of little dots everywhere.
Yeah.
So be careful of the humidity inside. The mopping of a floor inside, it doesn't really even have to be humidity. That if it's steel, it may rust. And you just probably think, oh, it's so dry over there. It's not going to happen for other reasons why it could happen.
Yeah. In fact, I would go so far as to say, if you're not going to be using the property all the time, not to get the dining furniture with the chromey kind of legs.
Yeah.
I feel they have to be wiped down quite often, right? They need to be maintained.
And also, like I say, because of the humidity inside the house, underneath the chrome is normal steel. It's not stainless steel, it's normal steel. You can buy those items, the sort of the pedestal leg table and just in stainless steel. Now that's different, but price is astronomical. But if you're going for the chromed ones, again, like you said, if you're locking that place up, so you're coming for, because most people don't come for 90 days, but if you came for 60 days and then you didn't come again for another 60 or whatever days, those things would start to pick probably. And once it starts, you can't stop it. If you try to take it off, it goes through to the metal and just carries on.
Yeah. So I would even go so far as to say, I'd seen it happen enough, and it was always when people weren't living here, they would go away and then come back.
I went and I came back and look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's been used,
It even happens, which is like perhaps more amazing, is it even happens on like shower doors and shower screens.
Yeah.
So with those, pay a bit more, make sure it's aluminium rather than steel coated in chrome, because they will pit, and obviously they're going to be wet. But that after a steamy shower is going to stay wet for every day while you're there until you go as well. And also, obviously, your toilet's got water in, and so you get the humidity from that. So they're just not teaching me just okay.
No, but they're like
it's
about you can have whatever furniture you want, but it's about how it performs differently when it's in Spain. And of course, a lot of the stuff you're not used to. We know all these things because we've seen so many people buy different furniture and obviously reacting to all these different scenarios. And so now we know, well, avoid this if you're going to do that. Don't buy this if you're going to do the other.
There's a lot of time we didn't know, because we're effectively foreigners here as well. We didn't know until a few years that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
You know, and then we'd say, well, we're not doing that anymore. Check what your usage of it is.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why you have to be. You know, we had a system of effectively not interrogating. That's not what I heard, but asking loads of questions to the people that were coming in for furniture.
Yeah.
Because we can only help you if we know as much about you as possible and what you're going to do with it. And so, you know, I don't know if places do that. Other places, I don't hear it that often, but you know, ask the people how it performs. If it's going to get locked up for a long time, how's it going to perform? They'll probably say, "Oh, it'll be fine," because they don't know that it's not really fine and they don't know your situation. But just think of it yourself. If it's cheap, chrommed furniture, and it's going to be left locked up or going to get damp or whatever, it's going to. And you know that from when you buy like a metal pedal ring for your bathroom in your house. You know that it goes rusty. So that's what's going to happen with furniture if you look at it.
Yeah. So we just thought no one really talks about this anywhere. You know. So
no, I mean, I think it's probably seen as patronising.
No, I think it's just really niche. I think it's just but also.
But you never
very niche, but then everyone uses furniture and everyone buys furniture.
It's very rare for somebody, and we used to say to people, it's very rare for somebody to go out and buy everything. You know, like if you're in the UK, you meet a girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, and you start to live together. You've got some stuff, they've got some stuff. Other family give you some stuff.
You might buy a new mattress.
Go and buy a new mattress or a sofa, but you don't go out and buy every single stick of furniture. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so we literally, when we did a package, we got to a stage at the end where Cora, who was the package manager, we would put food in the fridge for people. We'd have drinks, beer, some crisps in case they're arriving after 10 o'clock at night or whatever, a loaf of bread and some butter. Because they're arriving on Saturday night at 9 o'clock, and the supermarkets wouldn't be open until Monday. But we would do that. We'd have something to drink, we'd have something to eat.
Yeah. So I think it's super important for people to know, and there are a lot of conversations about when you buy a property in Spain and all that, and it's super important as well. But then when you buy your property, you buy your furniture. So it's you have to know what right furniture is.
My personal thing would be, don't go mad at the beginning. Put the essentials in so you can stay in it. If you want, if you can't come over that often or whatever, and you know that you're buying a 2-bedroom, just buy the 2 normal mattresses and beds for the back bedroom. Don't buy a main one until you can come out and spend enough time there to have a look round and try the mattresses that are already here. Don't order it. Just because you think, I want to get it finished in one day, I want to get it finished.
People do that. They want to just tick it off
and then you'll regret it, for so long after that you got things wrong, that you didn't do it right. Especially if you do something majorly wrong, like the sofa the wrong way around or too big. You get situations where I can't get in the bedroom. I can't open the bedroom door properly because the bed's too long. In a Spanish bed shop, you can have a bed that is 180 centimetre long, 190 centimetre long, 2 metres long, 220 long. That's standard sizes. Yeah? But the other thing is, you could say, that door opens, that bed cannot, in the kids' room, that bed can only be 1 metre 60. We'll make it 1 metre 60.
Yeah.
And then that room is perfect there. It's not wrong, So don't go mad. Get enough stuff and then come over and enjoy it again when you're going, right, that space, what's left now, it looks a bit empty there, we can have a table, but it needs to be 35 by 35, rather than ordering it and it turns out to be too big or too small. It can be too small.
And then maybe the final tip, when you order furniture, there's always a lead time.
Yes.
The exact furniture that you want is not just sitting in the warehouse waiting for you to arrive and take it away with you on the same day or the next day or 2 days' time. No, people have to make the furniture that you want, and everything depending on what you want. If you want a leather sofa that has a electric recliner, well, that takes a certain time to make. If you want just a normal fabric sofa, well, they might have them in stock. You might be looking about a week or two. You might be looking at 10 weeks. If you order in July, you might need to wait until the end of September until the furniture comes. So always ask the lead time and never think you're going to come over to Spain. I've got 2 weeks to go over to Spain and get the place furnished. No, you can order it, and then when it arrives,
You can. I mean, you can do that, but I virtually guarantee you'll get something wrong, something majorly wrong.
Yeah.
So for the sake of an extra few months to get it absolutely perfect, save you loads of money, just think about it and do it that way, and order the right thing, not just accept something because it's only 3 centimeters longer than it's supposed to be. Yeah, but I can't open the front door. I have to kick the sofa out of the way to open the front door. If you'd have ordered the proper one, it would look the part. It would be better for rental. It would feel better. You'd be, the thing that is a solution now is annoying for the rest of your life.
Exactly. So always think about how long is it going to take for the furniture to be made or for it to be sent in. What would you say the average in Spain is? 4 to 6 weeks?
It depends what it is. I mean, I think to be honest with you, in the whole world, and this will be everywhere else as well, I think the lead times have got longer. People are less willing to hold stock that they would have held previously. So I think if you were saying realistically from start to finish and you were doing it exactly how you wanted it to be, I would say 12 weeks.
12 weeks, I would say.
And then that would, if it comes in 10, then you're happy, you're happy with that.
Yeah.
But, that will mean that you've got everything right in there.
Yeah.
And literally, like we say, come and rent somewhere before you buy. Try renting one in the same complex.
Yeah.
If you can, for a week or so, and try and get it ideally the same way around as yours is going to be, and go and stay in it. And then use it as a guinea pig, measure stuff, and that doesn't work. It'd be better if that was bigger or smaller or whatever. And then you've got it right, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. So that was one of the biggest things that people would always be shocked that it wasn't going to be ready the next day or the same day or in a couple of days, that.
I mean, you can always find shops where they've got things to sell for fun, but usually there's either something wrong with them, they were crap anyway, that's why they're getting rid of them, or they're not quite right. Yeah. And that not quite right is fine when you're all excited, but when you go back down, you've been there 3 months, you sit there and think, wish I'd got that on there. So, and then you end up spending more money again, don't you?
You would see it a lot. You would see it a lot. 2 or 3 months later, they would buy another sofa or they would buy another.
I mean, we tried to put people off. Not if they were like, that's perfect, we'll have that, it's in clearance, it's a good price, right? But if you say, but it should be all right, I'm like, whoa, hold on a minute, it should be, look at the size of it. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah. And a lot of furniture shops will have like loan sofas.
Yeah.
So if you just need a sofa, you can go into the store, and if you order a sofa with them, but it's going to take maybe 6 weeks to arrive, they might have a loan sofa they can give you for the period of time that you're here for 2 weeks, but you don't want to be, have no sofa to sit on. They might give you they might have a loan sofa. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
One of the other things I thought of the other day was somebody, it was on the groups that I was commenting, I said, Maison de Monde, the French store, do some really nice stuff. Not cheap, but you do some nice stuff. And somebody said, it's too expensive, they won't buy that. That is the sort of place that you would go to have a look at their clearance, because it's likely that it's good quality stuff.
Yeah.
It may have an extended warranty. So, you might find a sofa that has standard in Spain is 2 or 3 years on a guarantee. It might have 5 years, it might have 10 years. I don't know, some places do extended warranty. The thing with those extended warranties on products is that it's not worth the company making something cheap, even though they're selling it cheap, because they've got to maintain the quality of it. So their first price sofa might be a 3-seater at €499. Great price. That quality of that $499 sofa is likely to be a lot better than a cheap shop selling a $499 sofa, because the company can't afford for its reputation to be abused because it sells something rubbish. So it's definitely worth looking at good quality stores, entry level products for that reason. So have a look. And good luck with everything. And if you need anything, please send us a message to Spainfully Honest. No, what is it? hello@spainfullyhonest.com, and we'll try and help you. Direct you to different places.
If you want us to go into more detail on anything that we spoke about there, because we don't want to we could talk about it for hours and hours, but of course we don't want to keep you on a podcast for hours and hours. But we just thought it was we know a lot about it. We saw a lot of people having problems. So we thought it was something that we could help you with. You know, a lot of people are listening to the podcast before they move to Spain. You know, we can see what countries people are listening to the podcast from, and from the emails we're getting from people asking us questions about moving to Spain. So if you want to keep all this information together, and then so you're armed before you move to Spain, and you end up choosing the right furniture for your life in Spain, because it's going to be different to your life in the States or in the UK or Ireland or whatever it may be. So I hope it was a help. But yeah, I say if you want any more detail on any of those things, feel free to email us, and brilliant. Thanks.
hello@spainfullyhonest.com. Said it right. Good luck with everything.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening, and please don't forget to subscribe. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music. So please subscribe to those. It doesn't cost you anything. It just helps us get higher up in the rankings, so more people will see it. The more people that see it, we can get more guests on things. So please, and write us a review if you like it, or write us a review if you don't like it. I prefer if you do like it. It really helps, honestly. So thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye.